Hi everyone, this is Mary Sutherland and it's Monday. Monday, happy days. Monday through Friday is our shows. Let's talk with Mary Sutherland, 9/25/17. Talk with Mary Sutherland and her co-host, Max. And so, hi Lisa. See Max? Max says, hi, Lisa. Say hi, Lisa. There's the yawn. There's the yawn. Carrie's here and Terry's here. Max is here. Richard Beeren's here. Neil's here. Max got to say how much he loves us all. Up, there we go with the yawn. You want to say hi? Would you like to say hi to everybody? Can you say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Oh, Max wanted to show you something. Max has a little friend. See, this is Max's little friend, Lammy Pie. Put this down more so you guys can see it. And show everybody, Max, what you can do with Lammy Pie. He's trying here. Here, just get his feet. Try that. He's not going to show you. Anyhow, Max says that, see, this is Lammy Pie. Anyhow, I didn't know for sure if he wanted me to show you Lammy Pie or not, so, we won't push it. Sometimes he's a little private as far as some of his little friends go. So anyhow, today, Max, are you done? Are you done? Okay, so anyhow, I was hoping to surprise you with my new show. And Max, you want to come up here behind my back? You want to come up here? Max, you want to come up here? No. Come on. No. Come on. He's going to talk to you from there, I guess. He's all upset about something. Thank you for sharing my note today, Mary. Lisa, you're more than welcome, Lisa. Max, shush up. Either come up here on my lap and talk to everybody, or just be quiet. You don't need to be barking back. Come on, come up here and say that. Oh, how dare you. Come up here and say it. Come up here and say that to my face. Okay, so, come here, Max. Come here. Get up here behind me. Get up there. Get up. Hold on, guys. I'm actually not bedridden, even though every show I do on my bed. But my bed is so comfortable, and I love my bedroom. I got my bedroom all fixed up just the way I want it, with all my special presents that people have bought me, and all the really cool things that make me happy. This is my happy place, so that's why that's why you always see me here in this bedroom. Okay, so anywhoopers, there's Max. See him behind me? Say hi. There you go. Look up and let everybody see you. Okay, this is as good as it's going to get, folks, I think. Oh, there he says hi. There he says hi in the background. There we go. See, I see Maxie. I see Maxie. Oh, he's a good little fellow, though. He's my buddy. What can I say? So, anyhow, I was hoping to have that show done. It's a new program I'm using. It's kind of like a bridge, so that I can live stream not only through Facebook, but 10, 16 other places at the same time. So anyhow, you'd go on live stream, you would go on the Facebook, you'd go on Twitter, you'd go on YouTube, a whole bunch of other different places, Google, all over the place. And I can do interviews with it, so that not only do you see me, but you see the person I'm doing interviews with. And I can even put behind me like a game, because I know a lot of people are gamers. So I can actually have in the background a game, so that you can play a game while listening to me. And you can play with all the other people too that's listening to the show. And I can play music, I can show files. I mean, it's just like, I don't even think television's got all the things that this program's got. But after all my work, I find out that I need, what is it? Nuts. I can't even think of what it is. And I got to go tomorrow and buy it. But it's a video, like a video card. A capture card, I think it's called. So anyhow, so I have to go tomorrow and get that. And I'll go to Radio Shack maybe and get it so that maybe they'll put it into my laptop, because I don't have a clue of how to do it. This is breaking ground, you know, into something I'm totally out of my elements with. I've been watching videos on it, you know, how these other people do it. So I'm starting to slowly get familiar with it. But it's really going to be cool when I get it done. And I can be live streaming to like 16 other channels, you know, or maybe even more. I may end up, though, having to upgrade my internet, though, so that we don't drop, you know, the stream, because we all know how unfun that is. Friday, I don't know what the heck was going on, but we dropped that stream 3 times, and after the 3rd time of dropping it, we just decided the heck with it on that. You know, there was no point. You know, it was just way too choppy. Hi, Christine. Hi, Lori. Hi, Liz. All my favorite people are here to visit me and Max. Somebody PM'd me just a little while ago, right? I don't know who it was, I forget. But they said that they had read about me seeing that UFO last night. And they said, but they were more shocked in the fact that I smoked than me seeing a UFO. Well, guess what, folks? There's a lot of things that I do that maybe you might not think I do. But I do. So let your mind wander with that fact. Okay, so last night, as the story goes, I'm going to read off all the other remarks that I got, comments I got back on this. But last night, Lori says, same here. What do you mean, same here? Same here that you're surprised that I smoke, or same here you smoke? Do you have sex, Lori? Is that what you're talking about? We'll let our minds wander. Let the viewers' minds wander. Yeah, okay. I thought kind of maybe that's what you're talking about. Didn't know for sure. Okay. But it's fun. But anyhow, last night, you see, now my mind's wandering to other things that it shouldn't be going to. But what the heck? Anyhow, last night, Brad and me, you know me, I've seen UFOs all my life, so it's never really any big deal about seeing UFOs unless they're really down close. And I've had UFOs get so close that I could photograph them and actually pick up the letters on the UFO. So, and I've been aboard UFOs. I've been taken, not abducted, but taken. I've had communication with them. So, you know, I've never really, all my life, I just thought it was a natural thing that people saw UFOs and had contact with aliens. So, you like that, huh, Lori? So, anyhow, so it was never really a big deal for me. But when I first moved to Winslow, that's going on, what now, 2.5 years. When I first got here, about a week or so of being here, there was a UFO sitting over their house. So I just kind of laughed at Brad, and I says, they found us. Hi, Kim. How you doing? Hi, Kimmy. You guys in Pennsylvania? Looks like you're having fun in Pennsylvania. Mark's getting to see some of his family, huh? That's always nice. I seen that picture of, or that tombstone that was his great-great-grandmother. That's pretty cool. Mary Ann Hardington says, do you think you are seeing through a portal? Have you ever seen one when the people around you do not? All the time, Mary Ann, all the time. Same way with Brad. He sees and other people can't see. And but anyhow, last night, so that was about 2.5 years ago that we saw the UFO. So anyhow, we just laughingly said to each other, well, it looks like they found us. And I haven't seen any UFOs since, but of course I haven't really been looking at them. And I don't do paranormal pictures in my house or in the yard either. The only time I ever did use my camera to shoot for paranormal pictures was when Kim was here. And everybody, Kim's here, and she's dog whisperer, so, the pet whisperer, so give Kim a welcome. But, so anyhow, back to the story. So last night, and it was crazy too, because last night, you know how you get a song in your head and it just keeps going over and over and over and over again? Anyhow, last night, just as I walked out, because we have like this, it's a reading room. It's actually it's a porch, that's been enclosed, right? With screens on it, and we use that for our smoking room. And then you just open up the door. There's some steps, but I mean, as soon as you open up the door, I mean, there it is. The yard, the sky, the trees in between. So anyhow, I got this song going on in my head, that fly me to the moon, da 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 da. Anyhow, and I can't get that stupid song out of my head. So anyhow, I got that song going on in my head, walk out into the reading room. Brad's sitting out there and he's having a cigarette. And so I go out there to join him. But I let Max out first. And as I let Max out, I just happened to look up. There's this huge, huge UFO sitting there. Now, I don't know, it's hard to say how low it was or how high it was because there was nothing to judge it with. But it was down low enough that I could see the light configuration. It wasn't like it was a star way up there in the sky. I mean, it was low. And I could see the shape of it. I could see how the lights were configured, what color the different lights were, everything like that. And I said, hey, Brad, I says, you best be coming out here and looking at what I'm looking at and best be doing it like right now. So anyhow, Brad jumped up, he looked out the window looked out the door and I says, you can't say that's a star. And he says, no, we sure can. He says, there's no doubt about what that is. It's your UFO. And it sat there, didn't move, and it was low enough that you should have heard a sound. All right. And so anyhow, but it sat there quietly and never made a sound. And I don't know, it was up there for like a minute or so, and then a stupid military jet comes along, and just before it arrives, it just disappeared right in front of our eyes. Kim says that she got a great UFO in Pennsylvania. It looks Star Trek-y, totally silent. Are you saying that just recently, Kim? I'm assuming it's when you're in Pennsylvania right now. So anyhow, we'll find out from Kim because she said I got a great UFO in Pennsylvania. It looks Star Trek-y, totally silent. And that's what happened here. Is it was there, and then that military jet comes along, and just before it arrived, it just kind of disappeared. But what threw me off, though, about it is I've seen just about every type of UFO you can imagine, okay? I've even seen the light ships. Well, I kind of seen them. I can photograph them through the camera and see them. But uh, Liza says W had one last night. Um, and Kim says she's gonna. Oh, you took a picture, so Kim's gonna send me a picture of hers. I would have took a picture, but I didn't want to miss out on the experience because it's been a couple years since I've seen them. But what threw me off though is I have seen just about every type of UFO you can imagine, and this one was square. And I thought, maybe it was just based on, the angle, and how I was standing and looking at it. So I'd walk around, to one side of the house, to the other side of the house, and look at it at different angles. And it was square, like a box. And a box with a whole bunch of lights around it, and then a light coming out from underneath. Well, it was kind of coming out. It wasn't like shooting downwards, but you could see the light configuration at the base of it. And so, anyhow, so I go, what the heck? And today, I was on Google Images. You want down, Max? You want down, baby? Hold on just a second. Say it. Tell everybody bye. And then I'll put you down. Okay, one more goodbye to everybody. Okay? Where are you? Come on. Say goodbye to everybody. There you go. Thank you. Okay. He has a little apartment underneath the bed, so he likes being down there, and the fan's on too, so it's his happy place. Like this bed is my happy place. His little apartment underneath that's his happy place. Kim says hi, Max. Liz says hi, Max. Everybody says hi, Max. So anyhow, so I'm going through Google Images, and I'm not seeing any squared, except something like what you would see on Doctor Who. And but anyhow, I came across one that looked kind of similar, so I clicked onto the website for it, and it was some MUFON reports, and MUFON was writing that they didn't understand what was going on. They were kind of making a joke out of it, like, what's the aliens doing, upgrading their model? Because lately, they've been seeing all these people have been sending in reports of UFOs that are squared, and we've never had those type of reports and sightings before. And it's like, where are these? Where are these ships coming from? Did they redesign their models from saucer to triangle to box, or what the heck's going on? So that, anyhow, da-da-da. But it confirmed to me that what I actually saw last night was this new shape UFO, which I thought was even cooler yet, because of the fact that how many people have gotten to see the new UFOs and that are shaped like a box. And so, anyhow, now it all begins again, because now I got to do the research. Hi, Richard Wakeland, how are you? Now I have to go through studying on what's going on with these box-shaped UFOs. Now, I'm going to go over, now when I get my new thing, my new program, we won't have to be jumping back and forth like this. Whatever I'm looking at, you'll be able to see as well. But anyhow, I'm going back on my timeline, Facebook site, and I'm looking for what I had seen last night, because I gave a report about it. Here it is. Just went outside for a cig. There in the sky was a big UFO sitting there, as pretty as a picture. It looked box-shaped, but it was probably just the angle I was looking at. So it's probably a triangle UFO. Or so I thought, until today. Now we know it actually was a box shape. So anyhow, there was 25 comments. Okay. But there are some reports, because I'm kind of trying to triangulate this. of where people are seeing recently these UFOs. Anyhow, I said I probably should have shot it with my camera, but I didn't want to miss out any time not watching it. No guarantee by the time I got back to the camera, it would have still been there. So I think I made a good decision. I got to have the experience, got to see the UFO, and I'm fine with it. And chances are, I mean, you guys would have looked at it, some people would look at it and say, oh, well, it's not real anyhow. And I don't want to waste my time to any of the naysayers trying to explain my pictures. So I just enjoyed the moment. Yet, Marshall Pop Hero says, I can see lots of activity going on in Milton, Wisconsin. Saw a ton last night watching the sky and also saw a white one in the sky today that petered away to nothing as I watched it. Now that was Milton, Wisconsin. And she also watched an orange orb slowly fly over Milton about a month or so ago, and it slowly changed color and faded into, again, nothing. Which I wrote back, I told her that sounds like what we call the Rockford orbs. And let's see. Hold on. I don't want to miss any of them. So anyhow, I asked Marsha to keep me posted on the Milton area, and if and I wrote to her and I said they may be back watching all the commotion caused by these natural disasters taking place. There is that possibility, but I think if they are here because of the natural disasters, I don't think I would hold my breath thinking that they're going to come here and help any of us get off planet Earth. I think more or less what they're doing would be to observe. Okay, and so then I contacted my researcher friend / daughter in Burlington, Kat, and asked her to keep her eyes on the sky in the Burlington, Wisconsin. But in the meantime, Gerald Bringle contacted me and said, I seen one like a flying boxcar last year in Winslow, Arizona, when I was standing on the corner. Now, I don't know if he's joking or not on that one, Jan Johnson says she saw one in Manhattan years ago. And then one on the Hudson, but that, we need to keep reports, files of the ones that we've seen, but I kind of want to keep this kind of like updated as to what's going on right now. Who's seeing what right now in the sky? So anyhow, Kat said that she saw what she thought was a triangle about 2 nights ago around 11 p.m. in Burlington, but it was too far away to, give too much of a description of it. A lot of times, they hide themselves among the stars. So you have to sit out there, watch the stars, and you'll see they kind of look like skittle bugs on water. The stars naturally stay the same. And then these will be sitting nice and still, and then all of a sudden, shoot, off they go, and they kind of, work themselves in and out among the stars, and you'll see them change the color of their lights too. So I mean, they do, but like I said, we know that they're UFOs, but especially when they change direction. But there's a lot of stuff up there among the stars right now, especially satellites. So, but anyhow, this one I saw last night, was very, very low. It was in our hemisphere. I don't know. It could have been a half a mile up. It could have been 5 miles up. I don't know. But it was very, very viewable where I could get a full description of it. So anyhow, Jan, my good friend Jan Goldberg says, I think I know someone else who saw the same thing as I saw last night. And so anyhow, she said that her friend last night, around 5:30, I believe it was, My friend said she saw a flying thing that was rectangular while she was driving from Madison to Germantown. And that was about 5:30 p.m. So rectangular is not a sphere, and it is not a triangle. And someone else saw strange lights in West Bend a couple nights ago. So we've got West Bend, we've got Pennsylvania, we have Madison, Winslow, Milton, and Burlington. And Jim Dowster says, I have not seen one in about a year. Yes, I have seen two box-shaped low-flying UFOs. They skimmed the power wires and picked up speed. One went north and was climbing. The other one went west and was out of sight fast. The one going north was blue and was about 200 feet from me and about 100 feet up. Eliza said, we saw what looked like a larger star. After a while, it began to move. It was up further than 35,000. So we doubt it was a plane, especially since it had the capabilities of stopping. Oh, and Nye wrote and said that she saw a UFO last night too. And where are you from? I need to find out. Well, let's see. Hold on. And Nye is from the city of North Bay. I'm thinking that North Bay is Wisconsin. Maybe. We're going to assume it's Wisconsin, okay? So anyhow, she saw one last night. Nuts. Now I lost my spot. So, and I got some, I want you guys to make sure that you go to my group site, near, facebook.com /talk. I'm sorry. Facebook.com/groups/talk 1957, because I got some pretty cool pictures up there. Especially now, I got a picture. Well, Atala actually got it. Atala Toy, Crystal Life Technologies. Anyhow, she got this picture, and a lot of you know that I study people's etheric bodies stepping out of their physical body and going into the other dimensions. Or maybe they're just stepping ahead of themselves, because a lot of times people, like if I'm on tour, maybe they're at the end of the tour group and they want to be ahead. So, they're thinking to themselves, wow, I wish I could see what they're seeing up there. Next thing you know, when you take the picture, that person, the physical person, is still in the back part of the group, but their etheric self is right up there where they want it to be. So I say it's getting ahead of yourself. But I knew that it happened to animals or people, but I did not know how it worked with animals until I got this picture from Atala where it shows a dog actually stepping out of the etheric body of the dog is actually stepping out of the dog and getting ahead of itself. So now we know that this actually works with animals as well. Okay, and I'm still looking. So anyhow, with these UFOs, we're going to start keeping our eyes on this. And so anyhow, we're going to keep our eyes in the sky, okay, everybody? And if you see any UFOs or anything mysterious going on up there, contact me. So, and we'll keep like a running thread on this. I'll put this in. I'll put this in my in that group. That group /talk 1957, and we'll just kind of keep up on it there. You'll also be able to find it on the timeline, because there's a lot of people on my timeline that's not in the group. Okay, here's one from Lori Bourne. My friends had to fill a swimming pool about 10 times. Their neighbor totally freaked out. He was saying it was very low over the... Oh, okay, I'm sorry. She did two parts to this. Lori Bourne says, about 8 years ago, there was quite a bit of UFO activity in Portland, Oregon. Spotted a friend's neighbor's house. During those nights, my friend's swimming pool lost about half of the water in it. No leaks, just water missing. My friends had to fill the swimming pool about 10 times. Their neighbor totally freaked out. He was seeing a UFO that was flying very low over their yards. He turned into a Jesus freak after that and wrote on his stones, Jesus is in my front yard for Halloween. No decorations. But anyhow, turned her neighbor into a Jesus freak, I guess. Anyhow, Nada, she went out last night around 9, but didn't look up in the sky, so she didn't see anything. Now, Andrea Infante, she said that she wished I'd gotten a photo. I told her about, well, I didn't want to miss the experience. She could totally understand that. But she said when she was 20, she almost felt like, or she was almost what felt like almost being raped by an alien. I will never forget it in my life. I have not even forgotten the details. I imagine that I was a subject for testing and fertility, etc. But after this episode, I had a lot of miscarriages. I wonder if there was any relation. It was a grade, by the way, exactly how so many others described them. And then that reminded me when she wrote that, this one time when Brad and I had went to Cleveland, Ohio to do a workshop on remote viewing. And that night when we were in our room, I was being yanked out of bed by two grays. And I screamed at Brad, woke Brad up, and at that point in time, they let go of my legs and disappeared. Okay, and the Sico Chito Ona. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm in Wonder Lake, Illinois, and we see a fair amount of activity by us. It's been pretty amazing. And then she says, I love all the work you have done. Well, thank you, Sico. Deborah Yates, awesome. Thanks for your post, Mary. Amy asked about pics, no pics. Donald Croft, Rickner says, all for you, clearly. And Jay Camille, nice sighting. Keep sharing them with us. So anyhow, that's what, so we got quite a lot of comments since last night. So anyhow, if anybody wants a reading, let me know too, because I am here for you. No cigarette, but I am here for you. But I will be smoking one later, right after the show. Oh, you want to hear something funny? Last night that happened, I got a kick out of this. So, okay, yesterday, Packer game. Well, we all know how Brad is with the Packer game, right? So now he gets his whole thing down pat where he's going to do the cooking, but he's not going to waste any time or lose any time with the Packer game. So what he does in the morning is he makes up the makings for a meatloaf. Puts it in the meatloaf pan, puts aluminum foil over it, puts it away. peels his potatoes, and has his corn, already. And has them dumped into a pan, so all he has to do is turn it on. And then prior to the game, an hour or so prior to the game, all he's got to do is just during commercial break, just run into the kitchen, grab the meatloaf out of the refrigerator, shove it into the oven, and 5:30 comes around, boom, we're eating. Okay, he's got this whole thing down pat. And so anyhow, I come downstairs and I want to go out and have a cig. I think that's no. I just went out to check on dinner, and I says, when's dinner going to be ready? I says, what I'll just do is you just stay there and you watch the football game, and I'll finish. I'll just turn the corn on, and or he'd already had the potatoes boiling, and they were ready. So I was just going to turn off the potatoes, turn on the vegetables to the top. And so he says, okay. He says, I'll let you do that, and that way I can watch the game. So anyhow, I did all that stuff. And I says, so where's the meatloaf? He says, oh, it's done. And it's in the oven. I said, okay. Opened up the door, and I looked, both racks. Oven's on. Oven's on. But I call him, and I say, Brad, I says, where else could meatloaf be? And he said, no, it's in the oven. I said, okay. So I went, and I thought, well, maybe I just didn't see it in there. So I checked again, and then I looked in the refrigerator, and he was so excited about his Packer game. What he'd done is he made the meatloaf, put it in the refrigerator, and then when it was time to put it in the oven, what he did is he turned on the oven and then ran back onto his chair, his easy chair, and sat down to watch the game again and forgot to put the meatloaf in the oven. So when he thought the meat, and I said to him, I says, Brad, I says, that meatloaf wouldn't still be in the refrigerator, would it? And it's in a certain size pan with aluminum foil over top of it. And I heard him say, oh, shit. And so anyhow, everything was done. Meatloaf is still in the refrigerator. Oven's nice and hot, though. So anyhow, I says, don't worry about it. So we got to have some extra hamburgers. So I just made some hamburger steaks, and put a little Worcestershire, on top of it, let soak in. And it tasted pretty good, but yeah, it was just like, yeah. I mean, come on. It's the Packer game, what can you expect, right? So, but it was funny. He says, it wouldn't be that pan that's got the aluminum foil over it that's still sitting in the refrigerator, would it? And I heard, oh, shit. See how it was funny, It's fun having a guy around, especially, well, like the Packer game. It's one of these things. I know how Brad's whole week's going to go just based on that game. If they lose, he's quiet, just like a little boy moping. He's just quiet. And you don't even want to talk about the game, He doesn't want to hear excuses why they lost or anything. It's just, just forget about it. And he just goes about quietly doing his work through the week. Now, if they win, oh boy, he comes out and he's got a smile on his face and he's talkative and he's a joy to be around for the whole week until the next game. And all I do is when the game comes on, I just kind of like secretly do a little prayer for the Packers to win so that I can see that happy look on Brad's face for the rest of the week. And I know that a lot of you women out there go through the same thing as me, when it comes to these games. I mean, they're like, football in Wisconsin, Illinois, in these areas, that's the guys' church. It is. They work all week, bless their hearts. They got to go through shit all week long, listen to shit all week long. But when that game comes on, everything else, all their problems, all their stress, everything goes away, and they're focused on one thing. So I give my little prayer that the Packers win, and that God gives me a good week. Huh? And we got a lot of women too that are the same way with their games. I mean, there's women that are even more so involved in their games than the guys too. So I, uh, I don't know. I'm more. I like watching the game. I mean, I do, but sometimes it's just, I enjoy my research work. So and I enjoy my little bit. I enjoy my little toys that I got around, my dolls and, my happy things. And so I kind of give Brad his, because he's not talking to me anyhow. I mean, it's not like I go down there and carry on a conversation with him, you know. As a matter of fact, God forbid if I even tried, I mean, in the morning, every morning, he gets up. I tried this. When I first got married to him, I wanted to be like that perfect wife. So he was a foreman, for this building crew where they build homes. Okay, and he had his own territory and his own crew. And so they would get up early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning. They'd go meet each other, at a restaurant or whatever, all climb into the van, and off they'd go, and they'd be gone for a week, right? And then they'd come back on Friday night. So, but we got married, so I wanted to turn around, be a really good wife, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, give him a great big kiss and have a nice hot breakfast waiting for him, so, to just get him started off right. And I made that first breakfast, and he just kind of got solemn, and he looked at me, kind of real straight face. He says, "Mary, I thank you for what you did, but please don't do it again." And I have my breakfast with the guys, I read my newspaper, and I smoke my cigarette. I've done it all these years, and this is my quiet time. He says the guys don't talk to me. They just leave me alone. I read my newspaper and I eat. When that's all done and over with, then we can talk. So that was cool with me. I was just trying to be a good wife. So I didn't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't have to make him breakfast and never have sex. But he, to this day, gets up about 5 o'clock in the morning. And his happy time is going to the store, getting his newspaper, coming home, sitting out in the reading room, reading his newspaper, drinking his coffee, and smoking his cigarette. You do not talk to him until after that time is done. Then he'll be the happy little Brad, and you can talk to him until you get blue in the face. Until Sunday hits, until the game hits, same thing. You walk away. So I do. There's no sense of sharing the game with him because, you know, he's in his own little world. So no talking. I come up here, I do my research, or I watch a movie or something like that. So that's how that works around here. So anyhow, I came across Saturday and Sunday. I was doing study, and I've always been very, very interested in Rudolf Steiner's work. And of course, Rudolf Steiner, he was a Nazi, I believe. But there was a lot of those scientists that it wasn't because they believed in Hitler, but if he didn't do what Hitler wanted to, you well, you had to do what you wanted to, or you died. So anyhow, he but this Rudolf Steiner, he was able to get here to the United States, and the government allowed him to continue with his research, and he dealt a lot in the metaphysical world. And anyhow, I came across an article that he had done on karma and reincarnation, and I put that up in the group for Talk 1957, so that you guys would be able to read it. And it's kind of, they wrote differently in those days, and so sometimes it's kind of hard to grasp what they're trying to say. But he was a believer in reincarnation, and he said there was the spirit and the soul. The body carried the spirit and the soul. The spirit is more of your life energy. The soul is a collection of all your memories, all your personalities in an etheric body that goes all the way back to the time that soul was created, from the beginning of time. And so it doesn't really change that much. So passions, experiences, it's all there within the soul. In the body, the soul has a body created, that it goes into it, and that's pretty much it's just a container for the soul. But the soul has to give the body a life force to maintain. And then the life force communicates with the soul, which then communicates with the body through right brain and left brain activity, I guess. So anyhow, he was saying that, and I imagine this is what he meant, so what above, so shall be below. And he said that everybody concentrates so much on the evolution of their physical body, thinking, based on life experiences. But he says, whatever your body is going through physical, the soul also goes through it. So however a man is made, soul is made too. And he said that way back when, science said that life came from mud. Okay, you hear that biblically too. And he says, no, life cannot come from non-life. Life can only come from life. And it was the life forms that were in the mud already that gave man the spirit. But life came from life. So soul comes from soul. And whose soul could it come from? There's only one soul it could come from. The great creating soul, the source of all creation. It comes from light. Whether you call it God, goddess, or whatever. Because life comes from life, soul comes from soul. So there again, we've talked about man's extension, his evolution. Okay? based on experiences, personal experiences, right? That happens in your lifetime. But he's saying what's above so shall be below. So how we're basing that on our physical body as evolving, reincarnation is very similar to that. Because just as the body goes to sleep and reawakens to experience another day, so does the soul. So going to sleep is like a little sleep, and the soul is also going through little sleeps. It awakens to a new life, like we wake up in the morning to a new life, a new day. The soul awakens once again into a new body to experience the soul's day. Like we experience the day, then we go to sleep, and then we awaken. Soul does the same thing. And like how we take our naps physically, or we meditate physically. The soul, once it leaves the body, it still holds on to memory and experience, and it's kind of like earthbound for a little bit, until those experiences and, that what holds them just slowly kind of melts away. When that happens, they end up in a place called bliss, bliss, where the soul experiences complete bliss. It doesn't have to deal with anything. No stress, nothing. It's just bliss. And preparing itself to awaken and start a new day in a new body. And then that body experiences their new days, when we'll have a lifetime of days. Our lifetime of days is the soul's one day. Then it goes to sleep, it dreams in bliss, then comes back or awakens and starts again in a new body that's more prepared for itself. And that's reincarnation or incarnation. Then what happens, then he talks about karma. And I thought this was interesting because he uses karma as like the phrase, you are a master of your own destiny. Because he said the soul, when it goes to sleep and reawakens into a new body, it still carries the memories of yesterday. Okay? Or in the case of the soul, it still carries the memories of what it was in another lifetime. Just as we carry the memories of what happened to us yesterday. Okay? And so you, as far as the soul is concerned, your bodies are just days in a life, time of the soul. So you're like here physically, your yesterday is the soul's last body, the soul's last lifetime of experiences in another body. Carries those memories, just as your physical body carries your memories. Okay? Then, so in the physical body, as far as going back or with karma, he said that the physical body uses memory to create karmic actions for you. Because your yesterday, all the things you did yesterday, all the little jobs that you started or worried about or planning a trip or whatever, you go to sleep, you wake up, And it's based off, your day is going to be based off yesterday, of your thoughts and the things that you did, jobs that you started and everything. and how you um, respond to it will be your tomorrow. That's where karma comes in. And the maker of you're the master of your own destiny. You've got the experience. Next day you deal with that experience. You're either going to get mad and angry and create karmic, I don't know, what would you say, karmic flaws or karmic garbage to come into your life for the following day, or you're going to do something with it. You're going to make yourself happy. You're going to make somebody else happy, or you're going to do something, positive. And by doing something positive, you pull in from the invisible world. You pull in the building blocks for tomorrow for all these positive things to happen. But if you do something and react negatively, what you do is you pull in these negative blocks into your tomorrow for negative things to happen. So, and he says it has to be like that, because if you had no knowledge of it, if the soul didn't have no knowledge, or if you didn't have any knowledge of your experiences from the day before, you'd have to start all over again based on nothing. You wouldn't know who you were. You wouldn't know who your family was. You wouldn't know where you were at. You wouldn't understand who you were as a person. Do you have family? Do you have a job? I mean, everything would be nothing. You'd have to start over. Same way with the soul. So because you aren't like that, and because you do remember yesterday, you're able to understand yesterday, see yesterday, and be able to go on into tomorrow. Same way with the soul. The soul has to carry on and incarnate into a new body, but it had, because that'd be like tomorrow for a physical, but it had to create in order to be able to successfully create that new body, it would have to still have the memories and the experiences of the old body, just as we need the memories and experiences of what happened to us yesterday. That's evolution. And how this is done in our present and in our soul's present is what will determine the karma that will come back to us. Is that? I mean, this is Rudolf Steiner talking. I'm paraphrasing it. But I thought it was quite interesting. And it does make sense. I mean, we kind of break it down real easy by saying positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. But I thought, so I mean, I understood that. But I learned from reading this about how spirit, your life spirit, interacts with your soul to create all these lifetimes or lives that it uses to experience. So it's not what purpose we have in this world, why we're born into this world. The question is, why did the soul, why was the soul born into our body for this world? Why did he create our body as such to use for what purpose? So it's not all about me. It's not all about you. Never was. It's all about the soul, your soul. And so remember, when we go to bed at night, we rest. That's the soul's bliss. We wake up to a new day. The soul wakes up to a new body. That body has ego so that it can determine how to use that day. Wherein comes the karma. And I'm still reading it. I don't understand it. But I mean, I do in a way. But I thought that was quite interesting. And then, so I read that yesterday. Then I saw the UFO last night. So it's been, for my soul, it's been a fairly good experience for yesterday. And and so when we have life challenges, the reason we have life challenges is so that we can react with a negative and a positive for the purpose of our soul's evolution. And if we don't get it right the first time, we'll have to get it right the next time. If not, we'll get it right the next time. But in the evolution, there can't be that flaw. Because that's what, the soul's trying to experience the rights and the wrongs. And to make it good for that soul. So that's what I've been doing, is studying Rudolf Steiner. All religion is good, but you can't define religion or God in one book. That's why with me, I study. Anytime I have free time, that's all I'm doing is studying. I just have this passion for knowledge. And I really do believe that there's a lot of you out there that need to study more. I can do these shows and I can explain to you how I feel on a certain subject. But that doesn't empower you. It empowers me because I have to do the study to do the show. But if you don't put your time and energy, your life force, into something of value, then what has the soul really been able to accomplish in this lifetime? This is why it's not really so good when you hear about these Tibetan monks. They don't want to have anything to do with people, exchange ideas or anything like that, because they want to keep themselves pure. Because of karma. But the thing is, I don't think that does the soul any good by becoming a hermit either, or being chased, whatever. I think the best thing to do is go out there and experience life. And if you fall down, get back up. Taking, it's like a toddler. It's like when they're learning to walk. You're going to make mistakes, and you are going to fall, and you will. And as long as you get up and keep trying, eventually, instead of crawling, you will walk. And then from that walk, you'll go into a run, and that's how life is. Just you kind of like almost got to. I was thinking yesterday about, am I the same person as I was 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Absolutely not. I mean, when I was a young adult, boy, I'll tell you, well, I'm not even going to go into it, but I had a whole different set of rules for myself, for others. Um, my belief system was totally different than it is today. How I resolved problems was as different today as night and day. Um, and so, I physically, I have evolved into the person I am today. I would not probably recognize the person that I was when I was in my 20s and 30s, and or God forbid, in my teenage years. But I like how I did evolve. I think I'm an okay type of a person now. I think that I'm a little bit more um, forgiving, understanding than I was, and that's all based on experiences I've had in my life. You know, we learn to be calm. We learn that temper tantrums don't work. We learn that eventually lying and cheating will catch up to us, and we will pay the consequences for it. Like going to jail, or being exposed. It's but we learn what happened. We experience the vices. We learn from the vices, and which makes us better people. If we do learn, some people never do learn, unfortunately, but most of us do. And this is soul, you know. This is a good. This is food for the soul. This is what the soul is here for: is to experience inner youth. you know, I mean, I used to, when I raised horses. I used to raise Arabian horses. Show Arabians. You know, at sold for like 3 million a piece. I mean, they wasn't grade Arabians; they were show Arabians with beautiful bloodlines. But I I kind of just I watch the horses, as a herd, like a herd of horses. You introduce a one person or one horse, a new horse into that group. They will nip at them, kick at them, run them away, not allow them to be in the group. I mean, they're constantly picked on. And, this is like an initiation process. And sooner or later, they slowly allow that new horse into the herd. Um, but there's a pecking order, you know. There's the head mare, there's the head stallion, well, only one stallion. Um, and then there's the other mares and the geldings and the young foals. But you'll see the foals, they just, they run away, and the mama goes crazy and goes after it, brings it back to the herd, gives it a little nip, you know. Um, and then when they get to if it's a male, when it gets to be in its kind of like adolescent stage, teenage stage, they challenge the father, the stallion in the herd. And the stallion gets the living daylights out of that colt, And then the cold will run away. They'll be good for a while, and then pretty soon they'll challenge this stallion again. You know, it's just the pecking order of things. The main mare, she pretty much stays. She's the matriarch of the bunch, and she pretty much rules the roost. Okay, and there's not many that challenge her, but that's because they've learned that by challenging her, she can be really rough on them. You know, kick them, bite them. You know, I mean, take them down. You know, I mean, whatever it takes. She maintains her position. And usually another mare will come along and eventually replace her, but it's not done like how a stallion and a young colt replace. You know, it's more of a respectful thing with women, the matriarch horses. So, but anyhow, I learned a lot raising these horses, and I watched people, and I realized that we do the same thing. When we're born, we do our, we learn to scream and bawl to get, whatever we want. Then when we get to 3 years old, we're in the experimental stage and we do our temper tantrums and all that stuff. And we're running around, we're full of energy. And then finally, we get to be another age where it's time to go to school and to become knowledgeable. And we go through that, but usually we don't pay a whole lot of attention. It's something being forced on us, and we kind of rebel, and try to get out of schoolwork and things like that. And we're always looking for greener pasture. And so we're always sneaking off. And then we finally get to an age where we reproduce and, and have our babies. And then I don't know, then we kind of go different types of paths, because there we've got that freedom of choice. And so now all of a sudden nobody's telling us what to do, and we're actually responsible for somebody else. So now we have to take on responsibility for our children's sake. We do want them to live. We already went through the trouble of having them. We might as well keep them around for a while, right? But I mean, and then at a certain point in time, we start getting that, we just kind of fall into that mode of responsibility. And some of us do. And others, they refuse to go any further. They just want to go be back in the school days, or, their young adult life. And they kind of shut down for whatever reason. I don't know why. But as you see, and you can see it in all forms of nature. So you should never look back with guilt that you threw a temper tantrum, or you might have said something unkind to your parents, or you did something that caused a bunch of problems, because that was part of our nature, physically, our nature, to do this, to experience. We experience all this stuff young. We learn it, and then we slowly absorb it, and responsibility is pushed at us, through, in our childbearing years. And we become wise, like the crone, you know. Um, and so everything has its season. And so don't look back with regret, but also don't look ahead with fear that you might make a mistake. Because it doesn't make any difference if you make a mistake. What makes a difference is that you go forward, right? And never give up. Because you don't know what's going to happen 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road. And it could be something amazing. Some of us some of us just don't experience as quickly as others. But we all are given the capability of experiencing, because that's why we're here, is to experience. We're born into certain times and into signs that provide us with the tools that we need to get on. Terry and I were having a conversation with this a little while, or just today, about she's a Libra and I'm a Cancer. And hers is live and let live, and take, personally concentrate on your soul's evolution, and not pay too much attention to all the chaos going on in the world. See, that's because she was born a Libra. And these were the tools given to her to help her soul evolve, and but based on the path ahead of her. Mine, I'm a Cancer, so I've been given that the tools of being a mother, to be taking care of everybody, worrying about, everybody being happy, being safe, being sound. These are my tools, but I need them to be a teacher. I need them to be able to pay attention to what's going on in this world so that I can help others be able to cross the bridges safely. We all have our job in this life, but we wouldn't if it wasn't for our soul. But that doesn't mean that sometimes the soul. I wrote this in my first book, Living in the Light, that the angels came. There was a time in our evolution that we were kind of brain dead. We were just here, we didn't have that spark of consciousness. And then at a certain time in our evolution, the angels came and they gave the spark to us. There were some that took the spark and became conscious. They became conscious and aware. They started thinking for themselves. And then there was others that did not take the spark, and they remained as dumb animals. And there was even something where there was a law back in those times that you were not to marry somebody like that. But people, of course, didn't pay attention to it, and they evolved their way instead of what the leaders told them to. But there are people that are there are souls that are born into this world into a body, and the spark isn't there. Something happened between the soul and the consciousness, and why that happens. And you'll see. This is where you can see the difference between a person that is empathetic versus a sociopath or a psychopath. That part of their soul didn't activate. That part of their brain, the life essence, whatever, it didn't activate. So they don't have these type of feelings that we do. And I try to call them cold-blooded versus warm-blooded. But do you judge them? Because that part of their brain wasn't that they didn't receive the spark. I think what we need to do is, I don't think there's a time for us to be judgmental, because we don't have that We don't have the whole picture as to what is going on or what will be going on or why we're even here, basically. So we don't have that type of information, so we can judge. I think we need to understand them, understand what they are, and to understand that they may not be good for us, and understand that the best thing to do is stay away from them. It's like, but not judge them. I mean, it's like a rattlesnake. Do we judge a rattlesnake for being a rattlesnake? No. But we also know that you don't stick your hand in a rattlesnake den and shake it up without getting bit, because that's the nature of the rattlesnake. And you could die from it. So I mean, so we can't be judgmental, but that doesn't mean we can't use common sense for our own protection and to stay away from bad situations and to stay away from people that create bad situations. And as a Cancer versus a Libra, it is part of my job to expose the nature of some of these people so that they can so that people are not so easily victimized, I guess would be a good word. So so I play the role of a teacher. People may not like what I have to say, maybe not even like what I do, but we have to follow our heart. And it'd be fairly good of you guys to get yourself an astrological book that tells you the nature of people born under certain signs. I have a book, and hold on. Can you just hold on for just 1 second? Because it's in the other room. Hold on. I'm coming back. Here he is. Here I is. See how thick this book is? Well, it's pretty thick, wouldn't you say? Let's see. The Power of Birthday Stars and Numbers. Okay. The Complete Personality Reference Guide. I love this book. I've been using these type of books ever since I was young and dating. Somebody would ask me for a date, I'd go home and I'd grab my book to see if I was compatible with them, with my personality, if my personality was compatible with their personality. If it wasn't, I'd say no. That's all there was to it. Why? They'd say, why? I said, because my astrology book says no. Simple as that. But this book, it gives you the personality based on the date, the month you were born, the day you were born. They use numerology. They put it together, love and relationships, work and vocations. Let's see, your secret self, your lucky numbers, who you should be dating, who you should stay away from. I mean, and it works. You wouldn't. I used to keep. I have 2 of them, and I kept them down at the Sci-Fi Cafe and put them on tables. And people would love them, and I'd listen to them talk and say, "Oh my God, this just matches me so perfectly." So it wouldn't hurt, to Google something like this. and get it sent to you. And you don't read it from page 1, to the end of the page. You use it as a reference guide. And you really will learn about yourself, about your friends, about your family, you know. And I think that is something that's quite important, is being able to understand why your friends do what they do. Instead of being judgmental, understand why they do the things they do. And then come and then think to yourself, okay, are they good for me or are they bad for me? You know what I mean? Don't well, even the Bible says don't attach yourself to somebody where you're unevenly yoked, you know. And you can't. I mean, because one person can pull you down, you know. It's good for the person that is hitching the ride because you're pulling them along, but it's not good for you if you're the one that's pulling them along, right? That eventually gets pretty old. So anyhow, it's 5:26. We've gone over a little bit, but it was Monday, and I haven't talked to you guys for a couple days. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Remember, keep me informed about UFOs. I think, as far as the UFOs go, now that we're seeing these boxes, what are we having for dinner?
Meatloaf, mashed potatoes.
Oh, we're gonna have our meatloaf. I told everybody about the Packer game and the meatloaf. Oh. Here, Max, so you can say goodbye to everybody. But come here, baby. Come on, let's say goodbye. Come on, get up here. Come on. You don't like Daddy watching you say goodbye, do you?
Well, I'll just leave.
Okay, come here, Max. He does not like having Brad watch him do the show. It's a pride thing. But I think that these box ones, I don't think that these aliens have upgraded their UFOs at all. I think it's a different race myself. I think each race probably has, their own style, right? Let's see. Oh, the Boy Scouts, I'll be looking out for them now. I've never seen one either. It's because I'm in the, okay. There's a lot of people, I made comments and I did not know you were making comments. Could well be, having said that, I've seen friends on Facebook from the UK that have seen them. Anyhow, go through the, can you just go through the comments so that people can read your comments? And remember, even when the show gets archived, I go into the comments section, I read the comments again, and then I respond to you too. So, and I add pictures and files and different things. So I'm always adding to the archive shows, okay? And like I said, the boxed UFOs, I think that's from a different race. I think we got new boys on the block. And Brad, remember I just told you the story about Brad and the meatloaf and Packer game. So anyhow, I said, so we had hamburger last night instead of meatloaf, right? And so anyhow, so tonight I asked, oh, there goes Max doing his yawn thing. I'm going to put this down so people can see you yawning. And anyhow, so I asked Brad, I says, what we have for dinner tonight? He looks at me sheepishly and says, meatloaf. Meatloaf, Maxie. Meatloaf. Oh, and he loves his, see, look at this. See this? You go underneath right here, and he just puts his head back as far as he can because he loves that. He loves that splashing right there. So anyhow, Max says goodbye. I say goodbye. And I'll just see you tomorrow. And remember what I said about spirit and soul. Because tomorrow will be our yesterday, based off our memories today. Okay. Bless you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Still working. I haven't given up on that show yet. I just have to get some, I don't know what's called now, capture card or something. I'll try it. So anyhow, I'll catch you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, remember this is only part 1 of a part 2. So you need to go into, you can see the show on the timeline, or you can go to my chat, what is it, Talk 1957, my chat room. So facebook.com/groups/talk 1957. All right. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love and light. And we'll do some readings tomorrow, but I didn't see anybody ask for readings, so I don't know. Oh, by the way, speaking about that, if you go to that group, okay, hold on. If you go to that group, when you go to the group, I should say, here, hold on. A lot of you have been wanting this. So what I did is I went into Amazon and I found these runes for sale. So in that group now, you can go in there and I've got these runes up there and a link that you can go to Amazon and purchase Animal Speak runes. And I've also put up there another tarot deck that Brad and I use every day for a positive message from the angels. It's called Messages from the Angels by Doreen Virtue. And Brad and me, we have done this for years, daily. We just pull a card and it gives us a positive message to start out our day. So I found that also and at Amazon, and I put that link there too. So now you guys want something that you've seen, just go to that site and it's right there for you. Okay. And I also put up a link for the tarot cards that I do have for sale. So you've got everything, right? Post and tagged you in a picture of it. I look for it. Okay, Kim, thank you. Kim sent in a UFO that she photographed from last night that she saw in Pennsylvania. So I'll put that up as well so you guys can see that one. So anyhow, I wish I could do that. Here, how's this? I hold my fingers together and then I pull these apart and I say, love and peace and prosperity. Okay, that's my Spock hand. Okay, catch you guys later. I'm going to have a cigarette and eat some of that meatloaf. Bye now.